I've had a few people ask me what the best lens for L mount is, and that's a hard thing to say for sure because it's not out yet. But I think the new Lumix 24-60 could be the best lens for L mount, not meaning it is the best lens or even the best lens for L mount, but I think the most useful, most versatile, most practical, best for everyone type of lens. Is it optically the sharpest? I don't know. It's not out yet. Is it the most useful if you need ultra wide? No. Is it the most useful if you need super telephoto? No. But for general purpose, best lens for L mount, I probably would recommend the 24-60. Although I still think there's room for improvement. You see, I can easily say my favorite lens, the best lens for micro four thirds, is the Leica 10-25. I do think that is the best lens for micro four thirds, the most versatile, most useful, best lens you can get for micro four thirds. The full frame equivalent would be a 20-50. This 24-60 is not quite there. 24 isn't the same as 20, and 60 is a little bit more reach than 50, but I do think I would prefer 20 instead of 24. But in general, for L mount, I think the 24-60 is quite nice. Obviously, it's got a constant aperture at an f2.8, which is very nice. The traditional kit lens for L mount for a while has been the 20-60 lens, but that's a variable aperture, 3.5 to 5.6, so not quite what I'm looking for or willing to recommend. And I also think there's some optical improvements that can be made. However, all things considered, the 24-60 looks to be quite nice in terms of optics, and that focal range is very, very useful. You might be asking yourself, well, why not get a 24-70? If there's a 24-60, wouldn't a 24-70 be better? Wouldn't that be the best? They're both f2.8, except the 24-70 is, I think, like twice the price of the 24-60, probably twice the weight and twice the size as well. It's pretty impressive what Lumix has been able to do with this 24-60, shrinking the lens down that is cheaper, lighter, and more compact. So those are all things I would value in addition to the focal range itself. The 24-70 will give you 10 millimeters more of reach on the long end, but it's also going to cost you a lot more. It's going to weigh a lot more, and it's a lot bigger and bulkier, which at the end of the day, maybe those are sacrifices or compromises you're willing to make. Maybe you don't care that it costs twice as much and you want those extra 10 millimeters on the long end. But for most people, I would say the 24-60 is absolutely the better choice because it is lighter, more compact, and more affordable. I still have to use it myself. The equivalent, I would say, on that same kind of price point, size, weight, would be the Sigma 28-70. So you're getting those 10 millimeters on the long end, but you're losing another 4 on the wide end. And I like the Sigma 28-70. That's also a 2.8 lens. It's good for general purpose, but I've always struggled with that 28 millimeters on the wide end. It's not quite wide enough for me. I really, truly would appreciate a 20 millimeter on the wide end for a standard zoom. But regardless, I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Maybe Leica will surprise us with some kind of full frame equivalent to their glorious 10-25 micro four third lens. I would love to see Leica make a full frame equivalent, 20-50. Who knows if or when we'll ever get that. It seems like Leica is only interested in their super expensive, although niche lens selection they currently have for L mount, which for my needs is not all that impressive. Sigma is on the right track, but the 28 millimeter on the wide end is not what I'm looking for most things. I can make it work. The 28-70 does work, and for the longest time, it's been kind of my standard zoom lens for L mount because it is cheaper than the 24-70, it's lighter, and it's more compact. So I think those are advantages of the 28-70, but I will happily trade that for a 24-60 f2.8 because like I said, usually I need a little bit wider than I need 10 millimeters of extra reach on the long end. So all things considered, I think this 24-60 is a really smart move by Panasonic or Lumix, however you like to call them. And I think it's a lens that will sell quite well because it does look to be, basically the best lens for L mount that you could ever want for general purpose. run and gun, casual photography, general video, 24 to 60 will check almost all the boxes. Is it the best portrait lens? No. Is it the best wide angle lens? No. But those are specific use cases where I would probably recommend some kind of prime that's going to get the job done. But if you just need one lens to rule them all, something that's going to do a good job almost all the time, you could take it anywhere, it's going to feel comfortable on almost any L-mount camera, the 24 to 60 seems to be it. So I'm very excited to get my hands on one. I don't know when they're actually shipping out, but I assume it's pretty soon. And I think it's going to be a great lens for a lot of people. And I'm glad we finally have something like it, because the 24 to 70, just too big, too bulky, too expensive. And the 28 to 70, too much lost on the wide end. So 24 to 60, great, useful focal range, nice size, nice weight, nice price, all good things. And I'm really glad we have it finally soon, because that's the one thing about the L mount is we could always use more lenses. Any mount could use more lenses, but certainly on the L mount, I'm glad to see more options. I'm glad to see Panasonic pushing this out. And now I'm just hopeful that Leica can actually do something in addition. Maybe a 20 to 50 Pro version, a little bit bigger, maybe even faster, maybe like an f2. I don't know, but something like that would be quite nice. This is great for the budget, everyday shooter, and I still think there's room for improvement. Give us something a little wider and a little faster, made by Leica as a Pro designation. I think that would go a long way in getting us that base foundation coverage for just general purpose lenses. And then we can start exploring the ultra wide end, the super telephoto. I know there's a lot of wildlife enthusiasts out there who are just begging for longer lenses for L mount. And I hope they do come. That's not personally my biggest need or desire at this point in time, something super long range. But Sigma's out there. I think they've got the 300 to 600 coming. We'll see. Hopefully there's more telephoto lenses out there for all you wildlife photographers and videographers. But for me, I've just been looking for that standard baseline lens that just gives me something that can basically live on my camera, like the 10 to 25 did for Micro Four Thirds for so long and still does to this day. Still shooting with the GH7, still using the 10 to 25. Great combo. I'm very eager for something similar for L mount, and I think this 24 to 60 could be it for now.